Om Vang me manasi pratishthitam mano me vachi pratishthitam aviravirma edhi vedasyama ani sthaha shrutam me ma prahasihi anenadhi tena horatran samdadhami Ritam vadishyami, satyam vadishyami, tanmam avatu, tadvaktaram avatu, avatu mam, avatu vaktaram, avatu vaktaram. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So we are in the hymn of Kutsan Gerasa to the dawn. As you know, Kutsan Gerasa was the favorite of Indra, and he was carried by Indra in his chariot to the heaven, and Indra showed him all the regions of the overmind. And he has beautiful hymns to Savitar, to the dawn, and to Rudra also, which is the last hymn of his section. So here we are in the number 15. We already read it, but I will kind of start from here and go to the passages we didn't read. Avahanti poshya varyani chitram ketum kranute chekitana Yushinam upama shashvatinam vibhatinam prathama Usha prathamosha viaush ashvait prathama Usha vyashvait. One has to undo the sandhis here. Prathama Usha vyashvait. She is bringing with her gifts nourishing life. This is a very kind of significant part of Usha. She always comes with power of rejuvenation, power which generates or refreshes our life. Being luminously visible, she makes a bright vision. Consciousness becomes clear, and seeing all of the eternal dawns that have passed, she has dawned the last and the first of the bright ones to come. So she's the first in the row of the dawns to come in the future, and the last in the row of the dawns which already came in the past. So it's a kind of clear indication of evolution of consciousness, or the work of the dawn constantly in time. Ud irdva jivo asur nagat na agat. Ud irdva jivo asur na agat. Apa pragatama ajyotireti. Araikpantham yatave suryaya aganma yatra pratiranta ayuh. Arise, the life as a great power has come. It's a kind of interesting identification with Jiva. Jiva, usually in the post-Vedic, known as the soul, but here it is the dawn. Udirdhva, so to say, rise. It is udirdhvam, udirdhvam, rise you. It is to the second person plural, to the people most probably. All of you, rise. Jiva asurna agat, because the life full of the power of the being. Asur, I translate Here Asu has the great power, but it is from root As to be. So the life full of, or life which has the power of being, of beingness, let us say, from capital B, has come, Agat. Apapragat tamach, and the darkness withdrew. Apapragat, went away the tamach, darkness. Ajyotir eti, the light approaches. Eti. Araik pantham yatave suriyaya, she made the path for sun to move on. Araik pantham, she actually vacated the path for the sun, Suryaya, to move Yatave. Yatave is the infinitive, Vedic infinitive, to move for the sun. Aganma yatra pratiranta ayuh. We have come there, yatra, where life force reaches to the beyond. Pratiranta, crosses over, where the ayuh, the life force by which we live, crosses over. There we came. We came to the beyond. Interesting, that's the life force which she generates of the being, of the immortal existence. She comes with this life force, and we, because of that, cross to the, with our life force, to the beyond, from where she comes. So this life force has the extension to the beyond. We are thinking always about life force as the antariksha, as the space between heaven and earth, as prana, as something functional, which has a particular function to connect to the spirit and matter, but it has its own regions beyond. So the life can be extended to the transcendental. And that is immortality. And now we come to these verses we didn't read. Syumana vachach udi ud iarti vahnich. Syumana vachach udi iarti vahnich. Stavano rebha ushaso vibhatich. Adyatad ucha grenate maghoni. Asme ayuh nididihi prajavat. The flame moves up with the voices interwoven, or with the voice interwoven into it, with the prayer or praise. Cracking, cracking is rebha. When fire burns, it gives these sounds. He is praising the shining dawns. Stavanach ushaso vibhatich. So the flame moves up with our voice, with our prayers interwoven into it, crackling and by praising the shining dawns. He's also joining our voices with his voice when he is burning the wood, the offering. Today then shine on the past, praising one, Adyat Tad tada, ucha, shine, grenate, for the one who is giving his voice to the praise, to the calling, maghoni, or generous one. Asme ayuh nididihi prajavat, in us you illumine your life force, or our life force. I put it into this. It can be either her life force or our life force. I think it is her force. Full of offspring, prajavat. So she has to illumine in us the life force which is full of this potential to be born forward in time. Prajavat also can be translated as on your own, as kind of shine as on your own offspring. Prajavat. Vat is translated this suffix when it is used as in the adverbial sense as eva word. Praja eva, as if it is your offspring. Shine onto or illumine in us your life force as if and shine onto it as if we are your own offspring. And we are her offspring. We are the offspring of the Divine Mother. So, next verse. Yagomati hushasach sarvavirach vyuchanti dashu shemartiyaya vyuchanti dashu shemartiyaya. You see, the construction is needed. Vayor iva sunritanam udarke ta ashvadach ashnavat soma sutva. Those dawns that are full of light and almighty, all-powerful, shining on the mortal man who is giving himself to them, to those dawns. As from the Vayu, again life energy, interesting, dawn and life energy are going together. From the life energy, the happy truths are rising with the rising of the sun. One should enjoy those dawns, bestowing power, ashvabat, as if of the life force. Again, it can be translated as if of the life force, as in the previous prajavat, ashvavat, ashvada, sorry, I misread. Ashvada, having giving or bestowing the swiftness of life, or the life force, giving to us the life force, ashnavat, one should enjoy the bestowing power. Soma Suttva. Soma Suttva is the one who is preparing the Soma drink, the sacrificial one. The Soma Suttva, the man who is giving his delight to the divine, should enjoy Ashnavat, the Ashvadaha, Taha, those dawns which bring this power of life. I will remove this one, I will put the one who prepares or who sacrifices. Should enjoy those dawns bestowing power. And then number 19, Mata Devanam, this is quoted by Sri Aurobindo, Mata Devanam Aditera Nikam Yajnasya Ketu Brahati Vibhati Prashasti Krid Brahmane no Viucha no Jane Janaya no Jane Janaya Vishwavare. Oh, this is a different rhythm. Prashasti Krid Brahmane no Viucha no Jane Janaya Vishwavare. I think it is already. Brihati 19. Now let me check the rhythm. No, the same, just, sorry. There are many hymns here. We will read one by one. So, the Mother of Gods, Mata Devanam, Aditich Anikam, the face of Aditi. Anikam is also from from the front of the Aditi, or the face or front is used in the same way. Anikam also can be an army, a force, because the army has the front and it moves with the front when it attacks. Yeah? Interesting. It could be also from root an, to breathe, the breathing force or the life force, fronting all the dead substance and making it alive. Aditeha nikam. So you can imagine that it's like the army fronting the mortality. This is the Divine Mother's army fronting the mortality. This is what is all implied in these words. It is very difficult to translate because these words have multiple meanings, so I put the face of Aditi. But I add so many other ideas to this word which can give us the depth of the meaning, what it means. Yajnasya Ketu also, the sight. Ketu is the sight or the ray or the flame or even the beam of Yajnasya, of the sacrifice. Also the flag, or the site or the pointing where the sacrifice is taking place. Brihati, she is the vast one. Vibhahi, shine wide unto us. This is so beautiful. The mother of the gods, the fronting power of the Divine Mother, the beam of the sacrifice, or the flame of the sacrifice, or the sight of the change of the mortality into immortality, the vast one, shine unto us. Prashasti Krid Brahmane Novi Ucha, shine unto the praise rising from the heart, Brahmane. And in our generation, in our people, in the beings who are born here in the body for this sacrificial action, Janaya, generate the wealth, Vishwavare, or all bountiful. She is all bountiful. She brings all the gifts we need. And this is the interesting. In our people, no jane, janaya, generate, and it is not said what is to be generated. There is no direct object, and this is something interesting. So you can translate it as generate in our people the yourself or your light or all bountiful, because there is, I put wealth, the spiritual wealth, the shining wealth of the dawn. Yeah. And then the last one, the 20th of this hymn. Yat chitram apna ushaso vahanti ijanaya shashamanaya bhadram ijanaya shashamanaya bhadram. I'm just looking for the rhythm. Yat chitram apna ushaso vahanti ijanaya shashamanaya bhadram tanno mitro varono mamahantam aditich sindhu prithvi utadyauh. The last line is the signature of Kutsangirasa. He ends these hymns with this one line, always the same. Yat chitram apna ushaso vahanti, the shining riches which dawns bring to the sacrificer and worshipper, shashamanaya, to the worker, and ijana is the one who is sacrificing. This is perfect participle, middle voice. Brings to the sacrificer for his own growth, and to the one who is constantly working in the direction of this growth of consciousness. Bring Bahadram, shining reaches. Chitram apnach. Apnach is the property you can see here, or work or sacrificial act. Bring the sacrificial engagement full of consciousness to the one who is here to grow in consciousness and working in that direction. Mitra and Varuna should increase for us, as well as Aditi, Sindhu, earth and heaven. Tanno Mitra. That Mitra, I missed that. That Mitra and Varuna should increase for us, as well as Aditi, Sindhu, earth and heaven. Interesting kind of collection of the Godheads. Mitra and Varuna is divine consciousness and divine being, should increase that for us. Tanno. As well as Aditi, Sindhu. Sindhu is the ocean, the universal ocean from which everything comes into being. Earth and heaven. And earth and heaven are our physical and mental beings, or our material and spiritual existence. Either or. So this is the hymn. So if you have any thoughts, ideas, questions, please go ahead. We can review certain things again. It's a longer hymn, 23 stubs. We already forgot the beginning, yes? But each verse is so dense with the meaning that one verse is enough to kind of unfold the whole philosophy. The choice of the terms and the words is hiding the presupposition of what Rishi thinks. And we have to recover it. We are constantly trying to recover what he wants to say, yes, by these words. So please go ahead in case you have something.
Vladimir, the verse 19 you said was introduced by Sri Aurobindo?
It was used, Mata Devanam Adityachanikam. He is using it, yes, in the reference.
So, how come he did this?
One can ask him, actually. Invoke Sri Aurobindo. And he
Besides doing that.
and he will tell you definitely. Because it's so beautiful there.
Yes.
The
I
mother.
was thinking of that he brings in the mother at the end.
Yes, and the fronting force of the army of the Aditi. In Aditi, he mentions.
Yes.
Can you imagine the force, the army of the Aditi approaching? What it means.
Sri Aurobindo uses the word fronting a lot in Savitri.
Mm-hmm. Actually, yes, it is from here. He was so inspired by these hymns of the dawn, and this imagery, this choice of words, is actually very potent for the spiritual, suggestions, allusions. So from ordinary life we jump into this, yes? And then we become speechless. We have to find our transition, slowly growing into this. We have to dwell on it longer and longer, then bit by bit the light is building up, and then we are able to. So please just, go ahead with it, whatever you have.
You mentioned that, to follow up on what Gita Sri said, you mentioned that Sri Aurobindo quoted that particular line. Can you shed a little bit more light on how he quoted it? Or
Well, I don't remember where, but in the dawn, yes, in the chapter on the dawn, he,
in The
yeah,
Secret of the Veda? Okay.
secret of the Veda, yes,
Mm.
absolutely. And not only, I think even in the Life Divine, yes, the dawn. You see why the dawn is so important, because it is the arrival of the Divine Mother into our consciousness. That connection is all what is integral yoga about. Without it, there is no integral yoga. Without the Mother, there is no integral yoga. She is the one who is rejuvenating our energies, illumining all the dark corners, enlivening all those dead pieces which were forgotten and were not engaged in the sacrifice. She brings this rejuvenating sacrifice. She changes, and by the way, it is said even that she is doing it so slowly, or how to say, mercifully. She is not here to destroy anything. She will not diminish or destroy anything for the sake of getting there she wants to get. And in that sense, she will be waiting, so to say, for the paths to open up. And in that sense, the power from above, the Mother's power, is very safe for us. It will not make us crazy by removing things we need in our functioning or demolish them, yes? It will rejuvenate only that which is ready and prepare other pieces which are not ready for the next coming and rejuvenation. This is how she acts. And without her, there is no transformation. There is no growth of consciousness in the view of integral yoga. All other yogas do something else. Yes, they are very demolishing for the nature. They are destroying the nature. They are burning the bridges in order to jump to the beyond. And that's what they call mukti. Yeah? Mukti is to disconnect from this nature, because nature is a kind of imprisonment for the soul. It is something which is dragging us down, this inconscient and these incapacities. You cannot change them easily. You cannot change them without the Divine Mother. And that's what the integral other yogas build. They build their sadhanas not relying on this transformative force of the Mother. They forgot about the Mother. And Sri Aurobindo brought the Mother back, this force of life. Rise, because the force of life, full of power, came. Life is coming back, the life divine coming back to us. We are
It's
as
also
yes.
it's also very interesting to see here that Sri Aurobindo talks about the heart with the mother's hymn, praise rising from the heart.
It's Brahman. It's, by the way, Sri Aurobindo alone made this distinction between Brahman and mantra. Others do not even distinguish between these things. Yeah, I never read anywhere this distinction, only in Sri Aurobindo, and it made totally clear what it means, Brahman, in the Veda, and what is Brahmachari, what is Brahmacharya. It is learning the Veda. The Veda, the word which is arising from Brahmanaspati or Brahaspati, located in the heart. And that word, the praise, the prayer, the call, the aspiration, is heart originated. It is originated in the heart, in the ocean heart, as Vamadeva would say. There is an ocean heart beyond. And from there is this prayer arises, this wave of delight, interwoven into, as he says here beautifully, it is interwoven into into the flame. So when the flame rising, Bhavani, and the prayer, the word is interwoven into it, it becomes very effective to reach to heaven. That's Sri Aurobindo's contribution to understanding how it works. And so all Brahmanaspati or Brihaspati who is in the heart, his children are rishis. All the rishis are his offspring. They are speaking the Vedic hymn, Brahman. Brahman is the Vedic hymn, the word. It's not the spirit. It's the word. It becomes later the spirit, because it is that power which is actually expands, clears up, widens the consciousness, the word from the heart. That's why we read these verses to widen our consciousness. It has this power.
Vladimir, why did you say at the beginning that the dawns and the dawn is the same thing?
Well, in the same hymn, they address her as the dawn or the dawns. Yeah. Okay. Illuminations. Let us say it is the divine illumination or the divine illuminations, one after the other. Yeah, they come with successive sessions, so to say. First one reaches like peace, then the delight, then knowledge, or as the light and the peace and the knowledge. They come, or power. They come in different waves or in different tides, as it were. Right.
So that is what procession of dawns would mean.
Yes.
Because he sometimes refers to that. Okay.
Right. And they intensify, they leap upon each other. One first is preparing their transformation, other is already, when it is ready, coming to the prepared, and then it continues. I think this is the idea. And it is so in the spiritual experience. It is absolutely so. It's just perfect description of what is happening when it happens. It's not something static which stops and has only one modality. No, after that modality, another modality appears, and then another, and it goes on. Yes, Chad.
I was just going to say that, it seems kind of obvious that the material world and Earth would make no sense to even come down and be here if we were to just ignore it and go into moksha.
Right, absolutely.
So it surprises me that there's so many paths that say to just ignore it.
Yeah. There is a reason for it, that the change, the transformation of the physical being and vital and mental is so difficult, and it is even declared impossible. Even Vivekananda says so. If the tail of the dog you cannot straighten up, it will go back. This is what he meant by this nature is nearly impossible to change. But it's interesting. This is what Sri Aurobindo dared. He actually says it is possible to change. It takes time. And because we are so impatient, we do not really want to give that full time for that. And it may not be visible to you because you inherited already the body of the animal, of your parents, which is given to you with its limitations. It will be not possible for you to see the result. So, because the result will be a contribution to the whole humanity of the development, hastening the evolution of consciousness. And this is how the Veda speaks always: we, for us, for the future, for prajas, yes, for the It has to be extended in time. Because of that, and selfishness of me getting out, you got this denial of nature. Yeah. But Rig Veda has a vast view. Yes? It looks for the whole project of a group soul. That's why the rishis are not in a hurry, actually, but they are looking for that for the transformative powers, as the dawn and the gods.
That getting out is prevalent even in Christianity, as it is sometimes preached about, this is not our home. We are pilgrims. We're waiting for the heaven later. And it's the same concept. Right. If you dig deeply, all of these Vedic concepts are found there, but they've been encrusted over with so much dogma and so much misunderstanding that it has morphed into something that does not really honor, first of all, the mother adequately. I mean, I was quoting last time this verse from Isaiah, "Arise, shine, for thy light has risen upon you," that's so similar to verse 16 here. But there's no thought in Isaiah and the way it's interpreted. Yes, they use that every Christmas. It's about Christ coming, but there's no thought of the Divine Mother in there. And yet this is a hymn to dawn. And so there's just elements that need to be re-emphasized. They're there. There's a whole book about the wisdom of Solomon, and it's a woman. It's all there, but it's been veiled with misunderstanding.
By the way, uncanonized Christian, you have to tap into them. You will find there the Divine Mother, Sophia, and you will find everything, how Lucifer was born, the same as Vivasvat, how she left him alone and left with her shining sons, being alone, and he never knew his father. It's actually a kind of narration from the Vedic text. I was so surprised when I read those, the Gospel from Eve and so on.
The Gnostic Gospels, is that what you're talking about?
No, they were actually very ancient ones, even more ancient than those from which we canonized. But they were brushed away by the church because it was too much philosophy and vision and so on. But it is close to the Vedas. I would really, somewhere in the Soviet Union, they published all the uncanonized Gospels in one book in Russian. And I had, because they wanted to show how stupid religion is. But truly speaking, they printed the texts. And that was enough for me to see how close it is to the Veda.
If I was looking for that, would I look for uncanonized Gospels or
which are brushed away by the church? Yeah. By the Catholic
Church. There's a collection now, but it's called the Gnostic Gospels, and I'm not sure if that's
probably Gnostics.
No, Selby. I don't think the Gnostic Gospels have the Gospel of Eve and all that. Gnostic Gospels seem to be a different path altogether.
Okay, so I'm looking for the uncanonized Gospels. Yeah. I'll look for it.
I believe it's called the Apocrypha.
No, the Apocrypha is in Catholic Bibles, and it doesn't have that.
No.
They don't want to publish.
Are you sure?
So it most probably will be difficult to find. Only Soviet Union, atheists wanted to show, and they dig them out somewhere. But yes, the idea of this, you rightly said, that why the mother is not there, so to say, prominently, because of this, that you have to only reach to the end of your life, and then there will be shepherds to choose black and white sheep, and that's it. That's the end of the story. So to say, in canonized version. But in non-canonized, it's very different. You will see many things of this kind, and the mother is there. This is the most important thing. And they call her Sophia, the wisdom. It's something amazing, yeah? We have one knowledge. Of course, Gnostics are also very powerful and beautiful, and they are much closer to what we are studying here in the Vedic studies. Much closer. All that occultism, occultistic Gnostics, like Meister Eckhart or all this Plotinus, Boehme, those who were burnt by the church, who did not want to give up on their knowledge. Right. Any other thoughts? Yes, if you observe Buddhism, any Jainism, Hinduism, all Shaiva, Vaishnava, you name it, yeah? We have reincarnations until we are done with it, until we exhaust our karma, and then we are going away. That was the easy way out to explain things. But reincarnations remained for some reason. Not clear why. To get out, you can get out already by suicide and say bye-bye. No, you have to exhaust karma. For some reason, exhausting. Why exhausting? Not clear. If not transforming the nature by the spirit. Yes. So that got clouded, transforming the nature. Exhausting the karma came forward more. It's amazing. If you start thinking in those terms, you will discover so many interesting things. In certain religions, you cannot reach the divine at all. Like Judaism, he is always separate, always transcendental. It's blasphemy to speak about the divine here in your body. That's why Jesus was crucified. Because of that. In no way, the divine and you are two different things, two different worlds. You cannot even dream about it. Being it, what do you say? No way. And also Islam followed the same. Islam is even more radical than Judaism. It took 80% of Judaism, but in Islam you have only prophet who hangs between heaven and earth in his tomb. Muhammad is hanging there, and it's total blockage for you to reach the divine at all. You cannot even interpret anything which was given by Muhammad. So, of course, there is Sunnites and Shiites and Sunnites. They have a bit different interpretations, but the same story. The divine is there, unreachable, and you are here, and you can get into hell or heaven. That's all. Why they are so cruel to the non-believers? Because they help the non-believers to reach to the paradise by killing them. This is amazing. If you think how far it went, all this dogmatic separation of spirit and matter, that fundamental separation which Mother wants to bring back. Yeah? She says this separation is totally ridiculous. Even separation on Purusha and Prakriti is ridiculous. Even that she didn't like. And I understand why. Because people use it for the same dogmatic separation. I hope I didn't offend any religious belief here. But all of them are in one club here, all of the religions. There's none of them except Vedic, Vedas, and Sri Aurobindo.
Vladimir, this gives rise to a thought in me that for every physical thing, there is a spiritual equivalent. For example, we have a physical dawn and we have a spiritual dawn. We have a physical sun and we have a... So this is a kind of minds. And I often wondered about why the cow. Somewhere Sri Aurobindo says that don't treat the cow as merely a symbolism or an analogy. There is something about it which I think you will not understand or something like that, that the physical cow and the spiritual cow are not actually two different things. Just like this physical dawn and the spiritual dawn are, this is one thinking that I just had. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But we spoke about this not once, that the best way for the Vedic rishis to hide the psychological spiritual symbolism was to superimpose the physical equivalent of that spiritual phenomena. So the rising of the sun is the rising of the sun, the same. Even Sri Aurobindo says that our sun is actually not just the sun. It is not just the bulb of gas burning and giving some warmth and rays for Earth to physically, chemically generate whatever the process is for life. It's not like that. He says that the divine took the shape of the sun. Behind our sun there is a divinity who is actually in charge of all the process in our solar system. It's a very complex thing. It's not just the sun, chemical or whatever, physical, nuclear. Nuclear, it's a physical phenomenon, yes. But there is something more behind it, especially in our solar system. He says about this, actually. You can find it in his exposition that the divinity took unto himself this our sun for the embodiment here. He took, the sun was there, but it took it like avatar. The divine became an avatar within the sun to promote the evolution of consciousness in solar system. That's why our Earth is chosen. It's the psychic being. And the sun is our universal self. These two. And it is totally fitting into the symbolism of the Veda. And they are even speaking that below Earth, below our physical, there is another sun hiding. And this is the core of our physical Earth. It is the sun. So if physically it is total match.
It's also, Jesus said that he who has seen me has seen the Father. So there's an exact relationship, is what I understand you to say, between what manifests in the physical world, what we see here, and the spiritual, the divine counterpart of it. They're not separate, they're one and the same.
Yeah. Only through me you can come to my Father. That is the exact phrase, which is amazing. You cannot reach to the sun without really generating here the sun in the psychic. Psychic, the only gateway to the transcendental, to the universal soul. Yes, to the unborn self. So you can reach to the unborn self by demolishing nature, yes. But that is not the purpose of our being here. We didn't have to come for that. We would be much safer to stay there where we came from. As Chad said, why to come here if there is only to run away from here? Only way out is to drop everything and get out from the prison.
Following up on what Kinshuk said, because I was having the same sense today that there's a greater connection between the physical world and the spiritual. You've said before that somehow the physical world is the
replica.
It's the manifestation of the spiritual.
Yeah.
There's something, and maybe that's why Sri Aurobindo thinks that those who strictly study science are going to eventually arrive at the spiritual because they're studying what is. But there's something, I can't really articulate it, but there's something I think Kinshuk was also getting at that there's this, it's again, not the one-to-one correspondence type of thing. It's not that this equals that. It's that this is that in the whole world around us is the spirit. We just need to switch off somehow how we see it. I don't know. I feel like I'm babbling because I cannot grasp mentally what I'm sensing.
Yeah, you're sensing very right. In a way, it is what it is. Yes, it can't be something else, but it can be something else by distorting of the inconscient, what we inherited. Yes, that distortion takes place, and that's why it's not cognizable totally as full replica. Yes. So that distortion, my physical body is not the same as my subtle vital body. Yes? My subtle vital body is much more beautiful, much more harmonious, much more that what I want to be. Yes, it is closer to the spirit. But my physical, because it inherited elements, it was born in this time and space, in this lagna particular. My parents had distortions I inherited, a genome I inherited. I inherited all the problems at the same time, yes, which have to be solved by me. And because of that, this is not full 100% replica, but it is a projection of that thing. In that sense, cow is, of course, if you look at cow and you feel the cow, how warm it is, how it smells beautifully. Did you smell the cow? How beautiful smell near the udder. It has this milky, motherly smell, very special, very clean in a way. There is some purity in the cow. She gives her milk for her calves to the human beings. Can you imagine? She feeds the human beings, and human beings changed dramatically with having the cow. Butter, cheese, everything, all the products, all the dairy products. In that sense, of course, and there is bull counterpart. We have to remember the bull is the Lord, the master, the conceiver, the one who conceives life. Yes, this is another image which is used. So the replica from the animal world, so to say, or the world of beings, let us say, we are also half animals, is seen. This process of the spiritual embodiment is seen and used. And there is nothing wrong about it. Once you have that attitude of transforming life, you will see everywhere these elements in not only the cows and horses, but in all other creatures. You can see also the character in the goat, in the ram, lamb. You see that lamb quality. We somehow cognize it. We know what it means to be a lamb, innocent lamb. Something in us knows this. But of course, mind and this distorted formation of our own embodiment is interfering with dogmas and so on, and we have only partial knowledge of it. And not only that, if you look at the nature in general, wind, rain, night, dawn, day, rising of the sun, setting of the sun, all of these rivers, mountains. What are mountains? Why they're there? What do they really mean? Climbing up. They mean climbing up. There is somewhere to climb. The rivers, what do they mean, these streams of water? They mean something. The currents of energy connecting one point with the other. And so on and so forth. Everything has its meaning. The greenery, the soma juice, this juice ambrosia, immortality, which gives life, continuation of life in the embodied state. That's why it is immortality. So they see the quintessential quality of that embodiment, and they refer to it in that way. So it hides at the same time the true image, the true meaning of the spiritual significance by the form which represents it in the embodied state. So they don't need to hide much.
So
So to,
sorry.
so to understand these things, it's very necessary to develop our inner faculties, no? Of seeing and hearing and
Yeah, there's something even, I do not know. Yes, our faculties have to be charged by the dawn. The Divine Mother is to come. We cannot develop these faculties without her. There is no way we can be very developed robots and very efficient in doing things, like computers. But I don't think it is enough.
I was going to say the same thing that Jashi said, that the only way we can connect up the physical with its spiritual equivalent is by being qualitative rather than quantitative. I was thinking, for example, the thought just came to me. If it was quantitative, we would have the 12 quantities instead of the 12 qualities. The 12 qualities. It is not
Absolutely,
quantities.
absolutely. And that's the difference between the faculties and qualities, which we are disputing always with Selby. This is that qualifier which changes the whole nature of our faculties. They become aware because the light, the gold entered into them, the gold of the Divine Mother or the dawn, and they change their functionality. They become more aware of the universal soul. Great, we can stop here for today. Thank you all. I'm glad that we discussed these things, because only reading hymns is one thing, but understanding what they really represent and how it relates to the integral yoga is something else. Very big bonus. I'm using the language of the modern world. Bonus credit and so on. Funny. Great. I will close with mantra. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti